Well, welcome to the podcast. Yes, it's Rob and Rachel Elliott here. Me, the buyer's agent, Rachel.
Hi everybody, Rachel Elliott, LG Hooker Lifestyle Group in Camden, selling agent.
Selling agent. Well, today we're going to talk something that we've had a bit of a debate about because we see it from two different sides. It is the challenges that people have when buying a property, what they should look for, and quite often what they don't look for. Rach, you get a lot of people through your properties. First and foremost, how many people come through that haven't got their finance in line before they start looking?
I would say roughly half.
And what's the use of looking at a home if you can't afford it?
Oh, you need to have, I think a lot of people overlook what they actually need to do when they're actually buying, looking to buy a house. They actually need to, one, are you looking for a brand new house? Two, are you happy to buy a house that needs some work done to it? Or three, do you want a house that's been fully renovated? Because all three are three different price points.
Do you think people are looking for that perfect home? And let's be honest, the perfect home doesn't exist.
Well,
you get very close to it.
It's like going to the car yard and wanting to buy a brand new house, but you're in the used car lot.
Yes.
A brand new car, I should say, and you're in the used car lot. Like you're looking for, you're wanting the Mercedes or the BMW, but with the Datsun.
So if you're a couple looking for a home, I always say it's a good idea if you go to opposite ends of the house, write down 5 things that are 100% must-haves and 5 things that are wishes. And then compare notes, so you got a plan. So you can agree on what you like, what you don't like before you go and look at a home. Because then you're wasting each other's time if one wants 3 garages, one wants 2. Get all that settled before you go out. And if you're going to buy a home that's what we call established, not off the plan on you, and it doesn't quite meet what you're looking for, buy one that you can change to what you're looking for. One you can add an extra bedroom, add an extra garage, or update the kitchen or bathroom. Don't buy one that you can't update to suit yourself because you'll never be happy in the house.
Yeah, and I think another thing what people also fail to do when they are looking to buy is that they can't overlook the vendor's furniture that's there and their personal effects that are there, which is why I really encourage my vendors to depersonalise and if they can afford it, to do staging. Because then buyers will go, they can imagine themselves living in the house, and that's something that people lack when they are looking to buy somewhere, is the imagination to actually put their personal effects and their furniture in that house.
So that should be all part of the plan when someone's getting out there and looking for their first home or their established home. They should know exactly what they're looking for. They should know not to look at the nice lounge and the nice dining room table and concentrate on what the actual house is all about.
Yeah, which is why as part of my selling process, I actually offer that to my vendors when we go do pre-list, is actually do a property plan. It's for when they are actually looking to sell their house, what they actually need to do before they come to market. So they need to declutter, do a deep clean, depersonalise, make sure that it is market ready. So when they go to market, it's ready. The office is going to be lined up, and then the buyer coming in can actually see the full potential of what the property is and can be.
So do you think that helps a buyer looking at a house decide if that house is for them or not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there is a house for everybody, irrespective, and every house has someone who would like it.
Yeah, there is a buyer for every house, regardless of how old the house is, what configuration it is inside, how it looks from the street, how it presents. There is a buy for everybody. It just might take a bit longer for some unique homes to sell than something that is actually prepared and ready to go.
And what I always do, especially with a lot of clients, I advise them it doesn't matter how good the property looks, how nice the kitchen is, how nice the bathroom is to ensure they get a building and pest before they buy.
It's essential.
Especially if it's going to auction, because you need to spend that money before the auction, because you can't do it afterwards. At an auction, once the hammer drops and the reserve's been met and the vendor has said, yes, it's on the market, it's yours. It doesn't matter what's wrong with the house.
It's like when you get on the roller coaster, and once that roller coaster has left the station, there's no going back.
So, but when someone's buying what they call a private treaty home, do they have an opportunity to get a building and pest before they go unconditional on the contract?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They put the point, you make your offer's accepted, you put your 0.25 down, you sign the contract, you then have got a cooling off period, and that enables you to get a building and pest inspection. Your conveyancer should and must read the contract for you, not just actually skim the first couple of pages, review the contract and look for anything that may be hidden in the contract, like a fire overlay would be in the first 4 or 5 pages.
Yes.
And it will be under a certain clause and it will say where it is, and further down in the contract will be where it actually is on the property. So you actually need, if you don't know about that, you actually everybody should engage a conveyancer, and they need to make sure that your conveyancer is doing their job, or if you go into a solicitor, that they're actually are reviewing the contract for you appropriately and then providing their advice, which is what you're paying them for.
Because there's things also like land tax component in some.
Yes.
Is there equivalent? There is something they call a 66W, where it's very similar, that you end up buying it like auction conditions. In other words, when you sign a 66W on a New South Wales contract, you waive the right to cooling off. So you're signing unconditional. So you haven't got your finance approved and you haven't done a building and pest. You sign that contract and you haven't shown it to your conveyancer, they're going to be very upset with you because you've now put yourself in a very dangerous position.
Yeah.
There could be nothing wrong with the house. You could have great vendors, great agent, everything could be fine. But the risk that you put yourself in there is something might not be.
Yeah, correct. And I also think when people are looking to buy a house, you don't have to wait for your ducks to be in a row, because Mother Duck does not round up her little ducklings. She just takes off and they follow. So you need to just make sure that you are, you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect in the house. If it fits your needs from where we are right now, and it's in your price point, and you can do the renovation on it if it needs to be renovated, then don't hesitate.
I think you're right.
I'm amazed how many people say, I'm going to wait 3 to 6 months. Well, in 3 to 6 months' time, we potentially could have another 1 to 2 interest rate rises. So, and if you keep waiting, you are going to price yourself out of the market if you're borrowing to get into the market. Because that will reduce your borrowing capacity. Every time there's an interest rate increase, that reduces the amount of money that you can borrow.
And how many people, I've heard it a lot as a buyer's agency, they come to us and say, Rob, we've been looking for 6 to 8 months. And I say to myself, why have you been looking so long? And they say, we haven't found the property we like. What normally that means is they haven't compromised on something. They're waiting for, as what Rachel said, that perfect property, which isn't out there, and not saying, well, hang on a minute, I really just need a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, double garage that I can update, put the kitchen in that I like, maybe extend out the back, put a granny flat in, whatever it is. And they've missed, and then they go back, and properties are selling so quick at the moment that by the time you go back, the property's sold, and then to get a comparable property, you're paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 more because there's less on the market.
I think people don't actually understand the value what actually a buyer's agent brings to you when you are actually buying a property. One, when the buyer's agent goes to an open house, the real estate agent is actually getting the buyer's agent's details, not your details, which is unfortunate for us real estate agents because
it's not. It's perfect.
We want to be able to follow you up. How was the feedback? Was it fit for purpose? What are you looking for? Because we want to have something else on our listings that suits you perfectly. Another thing that the buyer's agent does bring value is they actually do a scope. They actually sit down with you, have a conversation and say, what are you actually looking for? What is fit for your purpose and your present life at the moment? Not pre-planning for 5 and 10 years down the track, because your circumstances then will change. You might be happy to buy a 3-bedroom unit or villa or townhouse, and then in 4 or 5 years' time, when that no longer meets your needs, you then upsell because you have got some equity in the property. The price has increased on the house. So that's a benefit that a buyer's agent does bring. And I can talk from that because I was a buyer's agent before I moved into selling. And I think another thing that a buyer's agent brings that you as a normal buyer don't see is the crime score of an area that you actually are buying into.
Very, very important.
Yeah. So you've actually have got access to that data, particularly if you're buying an investment property around the country, that can actually see where you actually should be buying based on that.
And look, what you've got to understand is buyer's agents and selling agents can work together, because our goal is for the vendor to be happy and the buyer to be happy.
Absolutely.
If both are happy, it's what I call good karma, and people moving into a good house. And a lot of the times, a real estate agent will tell things to a buyer's agent that they won't tell to someone that's walking through the door, because
Maybe.
they don't know if they're just wasting their time or not.
Oh, yeah.
But they know if a buyer's agent turns up with a client, they're pre-qualified. That agent already knows that they have their finance done. They know what they're looking for, and the buyer's agent has taken them. So they know they've got a 50% better chance of that buyer wanting that property than someone who they just walk in and they have no relationship with. And quite often it works very well, because he will turn around and say, look, Rob, I see what your clients are looking for. I don't know if this is going to be the best one for them, but next week I have one coming to market. I can get you in before we go to market, and it might suit your clients better. His client gets looked after because he doesn't have to do an open home. The price doesn't matter, because that's still down in negotiation. My client then gets in to look at a pre-qualified property, and we've done it. And they've seen that property before it's gone to market. Both sides have been happy. We've negotiated a price, and it's been what they call a clean sale. It's where you didn't have to do an open house, you didn't have to do a lot of the other things.
Yeah, but in that, I just want to qualify what you said though. We won't disclose anything to a buyer's agent that I wouldn't disclose to
That's
a
100% true.
normal buyer.
Yeah.
Because we are governed by privacy.
Yeah.
So when I think you were more aligning to the fact that, well, when you're having a chat to an agent, and they go, well, actually, what you were saying about, actually, I've got this listing coming up, it's off market at the moment, and that's what might suit. So I think that's what you were alluding to.
Look, 100%. Especially, I've seen agents do the same with clients that they're working with on multiple properties to find them something. They'll do the same. They'll talk to them in a different way. If a real estate agent doesn't know the person coming through, they don't know what they're looking for, they're going to sort of deal with them a little bit differently until they work out exactly the type of property they're looking for. And I think it's important for people to realise is we're all governed by the same rules. Buyers agents and real estate agents are both licensed real estate agents, which I think is fantastic. We're both under the supervision of the Office of Fair Trading, and I think that's a brilliant thing. I think because to make sure that we have a certain level of education and training every year is very, very important, because we're both working for our clients. We're both trying to do the best thing for our clients, and I think it's fantastic. Buyers just need to be, I say to them, be more educated, spend more time, have a look on your realestate.com, your domains and a lot of others, and get a better feel for what you're looking for. You don't need to go and see 11 homes on a day. I can tell you now, by the time you get to the 7th, they're all going to start looking the same.
Well, they just blur into one another. So unless you are actually making specific notes about each individual property, or taking a picture and writing the notes down, and what you've got, 11 homes is just, it's crazy. It's just, if you're looking at 11 homes in a set day, then you don't really know what you want. You really haven't nutted down. I like this area. This is my budget. I want a 4, 2 and 2, or I'm happy to have 3 bedrooms, larger bedrooms and, 2 bathrooms, but I want side access or drive-through access, and you really need to nut down because your time's valuable.
Yeah.
And if you're going to spend all day with 11 homes, you actually need to engage a buyer's agent, because you're wasting your time, and you're going to be going back again next Saturday doing the exact same thing.
And in all honesty,
and missing out on all of them.
There's only one thing in life you can't get more of, and that's time.
Yeah.
A buyer's agent will take those 11 and cut them down to 3 or 4 after they've had a good talk with you. And if you're out there looking and you have a good relationship with a real estate agent, when there's no one around, tell them what you're looking for. Say, I'm after this style of home and this is my budget. And the good agents will go, okay, and they'll put you on their books. They'll know, they'll trust you, and they'll be able to ring you up and say, you know what, George, I've just listed a home up the road. I think it may be something you're looking for based on what you told me last week. First open homes this weekend, come along and have a look. Because once you build a bit of trust with the good agent, it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. It really, really will. And the most important thing is it'll save you money, because you'll get a good property at the right price that suits your needs, in theory.
We'll see.
We'll see. unless you come across Rachel and, well, you know, she's working very hard for her
At
vendors.
the end of the day, as a selling agent, I work for my vendor. Yes, I'm happy. You know, yes, you want to help the buyers and you want to get a deal done, but I'm working for the vendor.
And at the end of the day, I'm working for the buyer.
Yeah, that's
and I'm
correct.
trying to get a good deal as well.
That's right. Which just means you won't be buying any of my properties. But anyway.
I wouldn't be buying. I don't know. I reckon that would be fun. No.
Yeah, no.
If, I don't think I'd do that to either of us. It would make an interesting conversation that night over dinner. But anything else you want to say? Like, we've had the grandkids over in the last week. Football's just starting up again in a couple of weeks. Anything else?
Daughter's birthday on last Friday.
Yes, she was 21 again.
I wish.
She was, yeah. It's.
I wish.
We've stopped getting older.
I'd be younger.
We've stopped aging.
Yeah, anyway, whatever.
So we had the grandkids over, so that was really good, and went out to dinner with them. And then we went to the trots on Saturday night.
Yeah, good fun.
Didn't back a winner, but had a lot of fun. But then again, at $1 each way, which is all we spend.
Lots of seconds and thirds.
Lots of seconds and thirds, yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. It's going to be an interesting couple of months in the property industry. Lots of opportunities out there, lots of investment opportunities out there when you do your homework. And from what you're saying, there's a lot of good properties coming to market as well.
Yes. Yeah, we are going into a balanced market. I believe we're going into more of a balanced market due to the interest rate rises.
So what do you mean by balanced market?
Well, you have a buyer's market where it's just, you know, there is probably lots of stock.
Yes, lots of stock.
Lots of stock, and, you know, it's, you know, that's when the buyers are more in control of the market. And then you have a seller's market. So, yeah, where it's limited.
When there's limited stock and people are fighting, they call it FOMO.
Yeah, they're fighting.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, there's multiple, like there's, you know, 10 and 15 offers on one property. And yeah, so I think, and that will still happen in areas, because as we said in our last podcast, property markets are different everywhere you live, everywhere across Australia. So that won't, you know, it'll be different everywhere. But from what I'm seeing locally at the moment, we'll be moving into a more balanced market.
Which means that prices should be a lot more stable.
Yes.
Yeah, so which will help me as a buyer's agent and help sellers, because we'll have very good confidence of what a property's worth, and we won't get the volatility you do when it's one way or the other.
And I think people need to understand when they are buying and selling, or they're selling and buying, is that they go, but I need to sell because I need so much money. But if it's a balanced market, then what you're going to buy is going to be balanced as well.
True. So if you're selling for a high price, you'll be buying for a high price.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're selling in a low market, you're going to be buying in a low market.
Yeah, so people need to, they've really focused on the bottom dollar. And another thing when people are selling too, they need to look at their holding costs.
They do.
Like if you owe money on the property and you're holding out for an extra $5,000, $10,000, look at your holding costs. If you knock back a good offer, a good firm offer, I'm going to hold out for that extra money, that extra $20,000. By the time you've held out for that money and you've got that, what does it cost you in interest?
I actually I was speaking to someone November a couple of years ago who was holding out for an extra $25,000. And it was the last week of November, and so traditionally the first week of December is when your last selling week, or the last week, and he had an offer on the table, which was a little bit under with what he was thinking, because he wanted that extra money. And I said to his friend, who was a mortgage broker, I said, you need to add exactly what you said, your holding costs. He said, what do you mean? Well, he can't sell it during December, not too many homes sell. He said, yes. Most agents don't come back to the third week of January. He said, yes. And then they'd have to sell it. So they could end up, that's adding 3 months on to settlement.
That's correct.
And I said, and what are his holding costs per month? And he added the holding costs up. The holding costs ended up being higher than him accepting the lower offer.
Yeah.
And a good mortgage broker will do that for you. They'll go through the holding costs. And I know a lot of very good real estate agents will do the same.
Yeah, you just need to be, when you're having a conversation with the vendor, you just need to be very open and direct and say, look at your holding costs if we don't take this. And I'm not saying it works for every person. I'm not saying take an offer, but you actually need to do your sums when you're coming back to counter, because as a vendor, you can do a counter offer. So on any offer that you receive, you can do a counter offer and say, well, I'm not prepared to take that. This is what I will take. This is my counter offer. But you need to be, before you do that, you need to be factoring what are your holding costs. What is it going to cost you if you don't take this offer and then you wait for an additional 6 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever the case may be to get a higher offer? Is it going to outweigh what your holding costs are going to be?
And I can guarantee you, if someone like me is a buyer's agent, my client and I find a house that's been on the market for a little while and they are getting to that time where they have to make a call, we will go in hard when it comes to negotiation because I'm looking for my client.
Yeah, the pinch point.
The pinch point. And we will say, well, I can give it to you now at this price.
Yeah.
So you really have to be open. Okay, we're going to wrap up this week.
Yep.
We don't know what next week's going to bring yet. We'll see what happens in the news around town.
We're getting closer to the footy season kicking off, so I'm excited for that.
Yes, footy season coming off. And
haven't watched any of the trial matches because
they're only trials.
They're only the trials, and they don't really field the strongest teams. They give a lot of the junior players a go, which they should. But yeah, so we'll wait for the first kick-off in Vegas and see what happens there.
And we've done really well. The dog hasn't barked once during the recording, so
yes.
I think that's an even bigger bonus.
Absolutely.
Because she likes to bark at everything out the front. You have a groovy week, and it's goodbye from me.
Take care, guys.
Bye now.